Work hard. Be somebody. Be something more than what you see in the mirror. Let the world be your mirror. Don't let them judge you, because the mirror can't judge you. You judge what you see in the mirror.
What's up, YouTube? It's Tyler Knight. You're tuned into Ty's Life. I'm about to be reacting to another Jimmy Howler video. It's called 15 Facts About the NBA that may just blow your mind. So, Jimmy Howler videos are always like lit, informative. Y'all know the deal if you watch Jimmy Howler, and if you've been watching my videos. So, about to get into this. Like, comment, subscribe. Try to get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. About to get to it. Let's get it.
Over any other skill set in the game, getting a bucket will... In basketball, over any other skill set in the game, getting a bucket will always reign supreme. Now, we all know who the all-time leader in points is, but more importantly, and never really discussed, is points generated. An overall total of the number of points a player has created through both scoring and assists. The leaderboard for a statistic like this will only feature the most productive and impactful players to ever play the game. Well, here is a chart of players who have generated the most points in NBA history. At the bottom, you have some all-time great players. Harden, Westbrook, the point guard himself, Chris Paul. As you go up the list, you won't see any more active players. Just legends of the game. MJ, Kobe, Kareem, and all the way at the top, you have John Stockton. Which should hardly come as a surprise, since Stockton scored nearly 20,000 points in his career and has by far the most assists in league history. Wait, we're missing just one player. There he is. With 56,682 points generated so far in his career, LeBron James already has by far the most points generated of any player in NBA history.
Wow.
Even crazier, he's still got plenty of basketball ahead of him.
I mean, that's not really surprising because he's an all-around player. He scores the ball a lot and he facilitates a lot. So his main thing is he's a pass first player. Like, he's not a point guard, but point forward, if you like to call it. Like, him and Scottie Pippen are those guys are like the probably one of the best point forwards of all time. LeBron's the best point forward of all time. Like, he's a point guard, but he's also a small forward, power forward, but he can handle the ball. He can facilitate. That's his game. Oh yeah, and Magic Johnson is, you could argue he's up there too. Like, he's probably right behind LeBron for the best point forwards of all time, and then there's Scottie Pippen. And yeah, it's not a surprising stat. I get that. That's his game for sure.
Today, I've got some NBA facts that may just blow your mind. We've done quite a few of these in the past, maybe 4 or 5. I don't really know. I've done a lot of these videos and I'm losing track at this point. But with that subpar intro out of the way, let's get into this. This past week, the Oklahoma City Thunder had a starting five with an average age of just 20 years and 219 days old. The very next day, the Oklahoma...
Yeah, Lou Dort. Lugans Dort. I played against him in grade 10. At this in this league called CYBL. It's this Canadian basketball league for AAU teams and just rep teams or whatever. But that guy, from then I knew this guy is just I didn't even think he was my age. I thought they were cheating or something, because he was just so big. He was bigger than everybody else. He was going crazy. He must have gave us 30 or 40 or something. He was a beast back then. I think he was the same size back then. I don't think he even grew. I think he was the same size from back then. Maybe he grew a little bit, but back then it seemed like he was the same size. He was 6'6", playing against 10th graders. From then I knew he's going league. He's a leaguer for sure. If he's actually my age, he's going league for sure.
Sooners,
For sure.
a college team
See
in
what
the same
happens.
state
He
as
went
the
league.
Thunder, had a starting five of 21 years and 313 days old. Sounds impossible, but it's true. And it's blowing my mind.
Yeah, I seen
On a
that.
similarly odd note,
I
last
seen that on
season,
Instagram. How the Indiana team's Indiana University team's older than the
February 6,
OKC team.
2020, the
Oklahoma
Rockets played the
University
Lakers
team.
in LA and had a
Wait,
starting
hold on.
five.
Was it?
On
Yeah,
a
Oklahoma.
similarly odd
Yeah,
note,
yeah.
last season on February 6, 2020, the Rockets played the Lakers in LA and had a starting five with an average height of 6 feet 4.5 inches. On that same exact night, at the same exact time, in the same city, the high school basketball team Mater Dei had a starting five with an average height of 6 foot 7 inches, 2.5 inches taller than the average height of the Rocket starters. What's even more strange is that the average height for a player on Mater Dei's entire roster was still taller than the average player on the Houston Rockets' entire roster. And once again, my mind is about to explode trying to process this information. Russell Westbrook has redefined the triple-double, a stat line that was once a rarity but has now become a common occurrence.
Yeah,
In fact,
that's his
just
average.
this week, Russell Westbrook broke the all-time Washington Wizards franchise record for triple-doubles in just 38 games. Possibly
I'm not surprised.
the quickest a player has
That's
ever
Westbrook.
broken a franchise record. In these 38 games, Westbrook racked up 16 triple-doubles, which means in 38 games, Westbrook notched more triple-doubles than all of these players had in their entire career. Has your mind been blown yet? Let's move on. Sean Livingston, a former point guard in the NBA for those unfamiliar, played in 959 games and took 5,072 shots in his 14 seasons in the NBA, and only made 15 three-pointers in his entire career. 15. In fact, Livingston was a longtime teammate of Stephen Curry, who...
I'm not even surprised because his mid-range game is so lethal. He does not need a three. He does not need to shoot a three. He does not miss mid-range jumpers. He does not. If search up his field goal percentage for mid-range jumpers, it's probably in the 80s or 90s or something. I have to look it up, but it's probably in the 80s or 90s because he just, the way he be shooting that, yeah, 80s or 90s kind of might be too much. I don't even know, but just mid-range. Actually, yeah, mid-range. He probably in the 80s or 90s because he gets to the rim and stuff like that. Mostly mid-range jumpers, but his game, that mid-range is just lethal. I remember when I was watching the Golden State against Cleveland in the finals. Every time he was in the finals, he just wouldn't miss a mid-range jumper. It was crazy. Just didn't make any sense. He just come off the screen mid-range, pop. He just does a jab step, one dribble to the side, shot, runs through 3 or 4 screens, gets the mid-range shot. Yeah, he doesn't need a 3-point shot.
Hit a combined 23 pointers in back-to-back games, which means that Sean Livingston made less threes in his entire 14-year career than Steph made in a 40-minute span. When Wilt Chamberlain was playing in the NBA, the league did not keep track of blocked shots. It wasn't until the season after Wilt retired when the NBA finally began to officially record the stat. But through some extensive research a few years ago, Reddit users were able to collect data from 112 games where Wilt's blocked shots were recorded. Now, these games only represent about 9% of his career. But with this sample size of games, it was discovered that Wilt averaged about 8.8 blocks per game for his entire career. And since Wilt Chamberlain played 1,205 games throughout his career, we can make a rough estimate of just how many...
I'm not even surprised because when I see the highlights, he looks like he'd be sending things. It's just too easy. If it's in his area, if he's there, if he's in the key and you're putting up a layup, you're getting blocked for sure. What was his vertical? 50 or something? Not 50. No, never mind. Because Jordan has the highest vertical of all time for an NBA player. So I think his vertical was 45 or something, and he's 7 foot, which is ridiculous. Imagine going against a 7-footer that's a 45 inch vertical. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's around there. A 45-inch vertical and you're 7 foot. You're gonna block everything. That's worse than Dwight Howard. I don't even know if Dwight Howard is a 45-inch vertical. That's crazy.
Shots Wilt blocked. A
And
total.
imagine it was back then. Like the average height was not like 6'7" like the NBA now. It's like back then average height was a lot lower than that. So you have like guys that are 6 foot, 6'1", probably 6'3", 6'4" on average. I'm just assuming or guessing, I guess. But yeah. I said guessing, I guess. But yeah. I could imagine how he's sending blocks to the stands back then with people that are like shorter than the players now, but he's 7 foot, 45-inch vertical. It's crazy.
So we'll get right into it.
It's ludicrous.
Let's go.
So staggering that no player since Wilt has even come remotely close. In fact, with a rough estimate of 10,600 career block shots, Wilt has nearly 3 times as many block shots as the next highest player, Hakeem. And your list of unbelievable Wilt Chamberlain records just got longer. Oddly enough, possibly the most impressive defensive player in league history was Wilt's longtime rival, Bill Russell. But when you think of the best defensive player to ever lace up, most think of Scottie Pippen, Kawhi, maybe Ben Wallace, or Hakeem. But the answer to this question is not nearly as subjective as you may think. The answer is Bill Russell, and it's not even close. In fact, Russell has the NBA record for most defensive win shares in a season. Oh, and he also has the second most defensive win shares in a single season. And the third, and fourth, and fifth, sixth, 9th, 11th, and 13th.
Okay.
Russell is known.
Yeah. You can make a good argument that he's the best defender of all time, but also it's hard to do that because like certain eras, like he was so far ahead of his time, defensively. It just made it like he was so dominant. He was so dominant defensively. So I just don't know how he would how that would translate to times like now. But I can't do that because like he's playing within his environment and he was ahead of his time. So he'd probably would fit in this generation and he'd probably be a top defender. He'd probably be if he was to place Bill Russell in the NBA right now, he'd probably be the top defender, I guess, because he's 6'9", power forward. He's kind of short for a power forward, I guess. Not really. Power forward's like, yeah, he's around the average for a power forward, 6'9", 6'10", around there. But yeah, we don't know how it would translate to today's game, but regarding that he was like so ahead of his time, you could see that like it shows in the stats that he's so dominant defensively, and you kind of have to show your respect. So it is debatable that he is the greatest defender of all time. I think Jordan is. It's either Jordan or Scottie. I think Jordan was a better defender, to be honest. I think because Scottie was more like he focused more on he didn't really focus more on defensively, but he's known more for his defense. But Jordan's defense, come on. He how many defensive player of the year did he get? And how much did Scottie get? I don't know. I think Jordan definitely has more defensive players of the year than Scottie. I don't know if Scottie has one. Let me know in the comments because I have to search it up. Honestly, I don't know if Scottie has one. But yeah. My opinion is Jordan, best defender of all time. Y'all let me know in the comments who you think is the best defender of all time. Yeah.
Known for his rings, but his individual greatness has been underappreciated over the years. For perspective, in Wilt Chamberlain's illustrious career, he was the best scorer for 7 seasons. In Bill Russell's career, he was the best defensive player in the league for 11 seasons. In other words, Bill Russell was better at defense than Wilt Chamberlain was at scoring. Just let that sink in. Every NBA fan knows the long and successful history of both the Los Angeles Lakers and the Boston Celtics. These two organizations winning nearly half of all NBA championships since the NBA was created. But what most people don't know is that only 2 of the 17 top final scorers of all time did not play for the Lakers or Celtics. You may have heard of these 2 players, Michael Jordan and Stephen Curry. At this point, most fans know Steve Kerr as the coach of the Golden State Warriors. Other fans may know him as the sharpshooter from the Bulls' 3 championships in the 90s.
Yeah.
But not many people know that Steve went to 5 finals and won all 5. 5 for 5 on the biggest stage.
Yeah.
In those 5 finals appearances, Kerr only scored 96 points. That's a ring for every 19 points scored in the finals. For comparison, Michael Jordan won a ring for every 196 points he scored in the finals. Kobe won a ring for every 187 points he scored in the finals. And LeBron has won a ring for every 390 points he scored in the finals. Steve Kerr, GOAT status confirmed. Lately, the NBA has seen some all-time great games, and oftentimes these games occur on the same night, making for all-time historical days of NBA action. But quite possibly the most incredible regular season night in NBA history occurred on December 8th,
Elgin
1961, when a 27-year-old Elgin Baylor put up an almost incomprehensible...
Yo, have you guys have 2K, right? So, the all-time team for Lakers, Elgin Baylor he's nasty in that game. Oh my gosh. Like, just based off of what people, like, how people talk about him, like, I don't know much about his game. I know he was really good. That's what I know. He was really good. I think he was a shooting guard, small forward, something like that, and he can really score. And he's on the Lakers. But judging off of, like, the way, like, his game was set up in 2K, yo, he must have been going crazy back then. And he's a Hall of Famer, so yeah, he was on the all-time team, and I think he was starting on the all-time team, I believe. I think he was like the small forward, or maybe he was coming off the bench, 6-man. I can't remember, but he was up there, so he's probably top 6 Lakers players all time. So yeah, he's definitely serious.
Stat line
He's
against
serious.
the Philadelphia Warriors: 63 points, 31 rebounds, and 7 assists. To this day, one of the greatest
rebounds?
performances in NBA history.
Yeah, it is.
And the Lakers needed every ounce of production they got out of Baylor that night to narrowly edge out the Warriors, because Wilt Chamberlain dropped 78 and 43 on the same exact night. 78 points and 43 rebounds. In a single game, these two legends combined for 141 points and 74 rebounds. And if there's anything I'm absolutely certain of, it's that there will never be another NBA game quite like this one.
Yeah.
Now,
That's crazy. Wait, that was in the same game. That's crazy. Philadelphia
NBA
Warriors
fans may know of a stat called MVP shares,
Lakers?
which is basically a number that represents how many MVP votes a player received over his career in relation to winning the award each season. For example, if a player didn't receive any MVP votes in a season, he would get 0 MVP shares that season. If a player wins the award and receives 80% of the first place votes, he would get 0.8 MVP shares. Now, this stat is interesting because, as I just laid out, you don't even need a full MVP share to actually win the MVP. For example, Derrick Rose has 0.98 MVP shares, but has an MVP award in his trophy case. On the other end of the spectrum, you have guys who have piled up multiple top 5 MVP finishes but have never won the award. Like Chris Paul, who has 1.66 MVP shares but has no MVP to show for it. Shaq and Kobe both have more than 4 MVP shares for their entire career, but have just 1 regular season MVP each.
Yeah, honestly, they both got robbed a lot of years. A lot of years they got robbed. Kobe should at least have like 3. Shaq should at least have like probably around 3.
But what's really interesting is that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has the most regular season MVPs in league history with 6, despite having far less MVP shares than both LeBron and Michael Jordan. Basically, every time Kareem could have won the award, he did. Whereas players like Michael, Kobe, LeBron, and Shaq possibly got robbed of at least 1 regular season MVP award.
Yeah.
On another note, here's a graph of the top active
What about Kobe?
NBA
He got
players when
robbed.
it comes to MVP shares. And here's LeBron. Oh, wait. Sorry. Here's LeBron. Jerry West has scored 40 points or more in the finals 10 times, which doesn't sound like a lot at first. Until you realize that's more 40-point finals performances than Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan combined.
No, but that doesn't sound like it's not a lot. That's a lot. 10 40-point games in the NBA Finals.
The logo's greatness doesn't end there. Jerry West also has the most 30-point games in finals history. Oh, and he also has the most 20-point games in finals.
I mean, that's probably why he's the logo. That's probably why he's the logo. Honestly, I feel like they should have made Kobe the logo, but judging off of what Jerry West did in the playoffs and how dominant he was around that time, I understand why they would put him as a logo. I get it.
History as well. Luka Doncic is already 11th all-time in triple-doubles in NBA history, despite playing just a little over 2 seasons worth of games in his career. In fact, throughout his career so far, Luka tallies up a triple-double 1 in every 5 games, a triple-double rate far exceeding any other player in NBA history. Coming into the NBA, Zion Williamson was the most hyped prospect since LeBron James. However, that hype has quickly died down in just his second season in the NBA, despite Zion's incredible play so far. In fact, out of all active players, the quickest to reach 1,200 career points isn't LeBron, it isn't Kevin Durant or Damian Lillard or Luka Doncic. It's Zion Williamson. So far, Zion has been everything we expected, and yet somehow he went from overrated to underrated in just 2 seasons. Oh, and if anyone was wondering which player reached 1,200 points faster than anyone else in NBA history, surprise, it's Wilt Chamberlain.
Obviously.
But if Zion and Wilt are 2 of the fastest to accomplish this feat, who is the slowest? Well, from October of 1983 to February of 19...
Why you gotta do the man like that? Please, why do you gotta do the man like that? You could have just left it at that. Come on now, bro.
1991 over the course of 7.5 years.
Yeah, come on, bro. Like, he's really gonna do this to him. I don't know how old this guy is. He might be alive, he might not be alive, but like still, that's crazy. You could have just left it at that. Like, could have left it at the positive stats. Like, we have to find how long it took somebody, like the longest it took somebody to get to 1,200 points. I bet there's some players, there's definitely players that haven't got to 1,200 points, so I guess it's not that negative, but it's negative. It's very negative. Like Oprah Syverson would say, let's get negative. Let's get negative. Nah, I'm not for it. Like, come on, bro. Disrespect.
Years, a player by the name of Greg Kites eventually reached a career point total of 1,205. This took him 473 games to accomplish. Good job, Greg.
Why do you have to roast him like that? Why did you have to roast him like that? What do you say? Good job, Greg. That's, I don't get that. I don't understand why he would disrespect the Bad's career like that. Come on, like what? Why did you have to do him like that? No one would have known. No one would have known. No one would have known until you just brought that up. Like, come on, bro. Most people would not know that fact, but you brought it up. Oh my gosh. If Oprah Syverson was reacting to this video, like, let's get negative. I like it. Let's get negative. But that was a cool video. The ending was whatever. The ending was kind of disrespectful, but it's cool. Yeah. Jimmy Harlow's videos are really good. Obviously, if you watch his videos, if you're tuned into his videos, if you watch my videos, because I react to him a lot. So yeah. But like, comment, subscribe. Share. Try to get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. So hit that subscribe button. Support my channel. Share this video. Tune into my other videos. I have a lot of other videos, yeah, about like Jordan. I have a lot of Jordan videos, Jimmy High Roller videos. Once, like 2 months ago, I was like putting out like poetry videos. I'm probably gonna drop some poetry videos soon. So if you're into poetry, you can go back and look at some of my poetry videos. Yeah. But this was a good video. It was a nice video. But yeah, stay blessed, stay lit, and I'm out.
Look, I know my actions speak louder than me. They gon' always try to hate on what you trying to be. Then when you make it, try to tell you that they always believed. All they do is deceive. Then when you fall, all of a sudden they leave. It's really comical, I always been a stand-up. Plans of making bread, I'm not a fan of. Waiting on someone to save me with my hand up.